And we're live, as it says. On the this thing was not hard to, or not easy to find, by the way.
No, it was
We
not.
got to thank Shirley for that. Watching After Hours with Jeff and Julia here on KSN Plus and on Facebook. And we're on some other digital channels as well. You can watch us on YouTube, not live on YouTube, though.
Correct.
But live on Facebook, and we'd love to hear your comments. We said this yesterday. We feel like those of you who have been with us which we've done 50 of these already.
That's hard to believe.
Which is hard for me to believe.
That's, yeah.
But you guys on Facebook that join us, it's like we feel like it's everybody's podcast.
It
like
is.
I really do feel that way, and I think that's kind of really. I love that. I love the idea of like everybody is kind of contributing to this podcast, and we learned.
Yeah.
And this crazy thing about doing this with you is that I learned something new every time we do a podcast.
Same.
Whether it's from our awesome viewers
Yeah.
that I feel like we're friends.
We are friends now.
And then I learned things about you because we don't share a lot of what we talk about on this podcast with each other beforehand. So if you know, like we're not really pre-showing. Like we're not saying, okay,
this is what we're going to
this
talk
is what we're
about.
gonna talk about.
This is the joke that we're going to make. We're going to type 5.
KSN, I got to work on my Type 5. KSN Plus, which you can download on your television through the Roku, Apple TV, or Fire TV app. Big things happening with KSN Plus in the very near future. I feel like I've been saying that for weeks, but I can assure you that we've already have unique content on there, but there's other things coming. There's some sports elements that we're bringing to KSN Plus in terms of like, if you like college basketball, the Shockers and KU and K-State, we've got some stuff that we're ready to put on KSN Plus. And then, of course, this podcast. These headphones are trash. They keep coming off my head.
I bring my own, but I'm missing a little earbud
that's
on
bad.
that. We do have Jan,
Okay.
who just joined and said, my first time. And then Olivia said, happy Thursday.
Oh,
but I love
thanks. Hello,
that we
Jan.
have these two opposite ends of the spectrum. Jan, first time, and then Olivia's a long timer.
I hope at the end of this, Jan doesn't chime in with
Last
time.
Last time.
But that's okay if that's the case. So we had an interesting question for you today.
Yes, in our 4 o'clock show.
In our 4 o'clock show about Kansas culture. And if you were trying to explain to somebody the culture of Kansas and Kansans who has never been here, what would you say?
You gave really nice answers, but there's
I
only
did.
one that I can remember.
Well, yes, I said easygoing.
Yeah.
Or laid back, hardworking.
Yes.
And I forgot the last thing.
I don't remember the last one,
Laid
but
back.
you said terrible drivers.
And terrible drivers. Look, I'm sorry. I'm just going to come out clean with you guys. I lived in Chicago for years, and everyone, when I'd have friends come up there to visit, a lot of them would drive, and they would complain, how do you do this? This traffic, this is terrible. I can't get my truck.
Yeah.
You know, and
Sure, they sounded just like
they
that.
do sound like that. My friends from Kansas sound like that.
Yeah.
And so, but if you've ever lived in a big city or you've ever had to navigate a big city, and I cannot speak for Los Angeles because I have been to L.A. Several times, but I've not lived
LA
there.
drivers are different, though.
Okay, so in Chicago, yes, it's traffic jam all the time, most of the time, but it's like a dance. Like those people, it's like chaotic courtesy. It's kind of a weird deal, or what do they call it? It's organized chaos. So it's a dance, and people really are friendly in those traffic jams. You just have to learn the dance. Then back here, some of you who drive daily out there on the old Kellogg's, it's kind of a racetrack. It's kind of like, that dance is just pedal to the metal, brother. Get out of the way.
I will say I have not necessarily experienced the bad drivers, but I will say this, and I don't know if he'd mind me sharing it, but I'm going to share it anyway. Eddie Randall, who used to be our morning anchor here, we used to talk on the phone all the time, hands-free. But
Gotcha.
he got honked at all the time from people.
Well, that's because they knew him. They said, that's Eddie. Eddie.
I don't know that that's what they were screaming.
I think. Oh, okay. You're number one.
Yeah.
Eddie's number one.
But it was, and people do, they honk. I try to just like stay out of the way.
I don't see. There's a lot of honking in
you
Chicago.
honk?
I do, but
You honk?
well, that's a courtesy thing. That's not mean. There's a reason there's a horn on your car.
There's a courtesy honk, and there is
Okay, I'll admit, you're right. There is and I prefer the courtesy honk.
Okay.
That's a meep, meep. But some people are just like both hands.
I have been that person before.
I know.
Where when I was younger, I had the horn, and man, I was going to use it. And then I got older, and I realized that's how you get injured.
Or worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, but that's it's okay if I'm a Kansan. I feel like I can say like I'm obviously I'm a cheerleader for the state.
Absolutely.
And I love my hometown of Hayesville. And so, but I'm also somebody who can look at things kind of from a perspective of other people and say, yeah, that's right, you're right. That we don't do that. We don't do that very well, or this isn't a good selling point. Like nobody's perfect. And even our towns and our people, we've got our what's the word I'm looking for? There's some negative things about us.
Yeah.
But we own it.
We own it. Which goes into what I said about Kansas, where I said people in Kansas are genuine.
Yes.
And I said, I've lived in Texas before. I said, Texas, you have Texas friendly, but the difference is here it's genuine. Maybe, right, people in Texas love Texas, but maybe they're friendly to your face and you leave and they say what they really think. Kansans, if they don't like you, they're going to tell you.
Yes.
But they are straight shooters, and I respect that.
So that's one of the things we'd like. Like where in the United States are would you consider you've run into the most rude people?
Oh, that's interesting.
I've had people tell me it's Kansas.
Well, yes, they're wrong.
That's what I'll tell them. I'll tell them to their face.
Yeah.
I'll say, you're wrong. I have one state. And by the way, I love the state.
You do.
I love this state. And I love that city. And my dad lived there for years. And I love going there. I've got friends that live there. We had a sports director here from that state.
Yeah.
He was a tremendous human being. And I missed that guy.
State.
Went back to that state.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it.
We'll read some comments and then we'll come back to it.
So if you could let us know where you've traveled in the United States, and I'm not trying to pile on. I don't want this to be a mean thing.
Yeah.
Like I don't
or
want to.
You could tell us what trait you would think you would describe Kansas as.
That too.
You could do either.
But you could also tell us where maybe you ran into some of the nicest people and then some of the more rude. I mean, again, I don't want it to be like, those people. It's because there's great people everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
Everywhere.
And there's mean people everywhere.
There are plenty of mean people out there, and I will open my email and show you.
No.
If you'd like.
Christine said, hello, Jeff and Julia. Hi, Christine. So Olivia said, still watching even when I'm sick.
Man, I hate that she's sick.
I know. I hope you feel better. She also said that maybe for Kansas describing, the culture, she said maybe generous people. I think that's accurate.
I would say that. I think they're very charitable. And we had a comment at 4 o'clock during our 4 o'clock news. A viewer had said that people in Kansas would give you the shirt off their back. If they're very helpful if you need, like, let's say, we had good example today. One of our reporters was out doing a story on pumpkin patches today. The big pumpkin patch thing is coming up. This is the first weekend, I think.
You mean fall?
Yes, I will say.
The big pumpkin patch thing.
This is a big pumpkin patch thing, and the big bit. So, anyways, the story was about pumpkin patches, and I don't want to get bore you with the specifics. But he got stuck. He got stuck in a pumpkin patch in the mud with his vehicle. Now, what he was doing, driving around the pumpkin patch in the field, I don't know. That's not the point. The point is this: he thought, because I just talked to him, he thought he was going to be stuck there for 30 minutes and miss his next shoot. Those dudes were just like, "We got you," and they pulled up on a side-by-side. Hooked up to the, he said, he was like, and he's not from Kansas. No. This reporter's not from Kansas. He's like, they were just like, they got me out of there in a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's what we do. We get people out of ditches and mud holes.
When we got stuck on road trip, several people, and they got them out of ditches.
They did. A few people drove by and did not help him.
But a lot of people
did. Maybe it had something to do with the logo on the car. But.
No.
So, yes, I think Kansas is one of those places where if you're broke down on the side of the road, somebody is going to come help you. Like somebody is going to stop and be like, can I adjust your carburetor? Like somebody's doing something to figure out what's happening with your vehicle.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Christine said, I'm from Washington State. I hated Seattle traffic.
I've never been to Seattle.
Olivia said, oh, you got to go.
What's
you have
wrong
family
with
there.
me?
You're
I
gonna
do
take a
have
trip
family
there.
there. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Olivia said, I'm sorry, but 5 o'clock drivers are kind of mean.
In here, right? And
Yes, in Wichita.
I agree. That's why I said that on the air. I said we're not the most friendly on the street drivers.
And what I will say about that is I've always worked a shift here that I was never driving at 5 o'clock.
Right.
Yes. In mornings, I was asleep by 4. And then obviously evenings, I'm here at 5. So I've never really hit traffic in Wichita.
But here's the deal.
Okay.
The person that comes right up on your rear end, honks at you, forces you to get over, and then speeds by you 20 miles per hour over the limit is the same person that's going to stop and help you with that tire.
It is.
The same person going to stop and help you change that tire.
Yes. That's really funny.
Just can't drive courteously.
Is really funny because my dad said, let's get everyone to give Jeff a good honk when they see him.
Yeah. I get honked at all the time. And I just pretend it's because they like me. Yeah. Like, they must know me. It's me.
Hi.
Hey, and then but then the facial expressions indicate it's
something else.
It's something else.
The same with the number one.
You're number one.
Yeah. Christine said New York, and I'm curious, Christine, if you mean for nice people or mean people.
That's a tricky one. See, I got to tell you, I've said this to you. I said this to you earlier. When I lived in Chicago, I was fearful when I drove up. I'm like, oh, big city, people are going to be mean and not very helpful. I was wrong. Now, I lived in a neighborhood. I lived in Chicago.
Yes.
But I don't want to go into it's beautiful little neighborhoods all up in there, but loved it. People were nice, the nicest people. I met friends that I still are friends with today that there was no reason for them they had no incentive to get to know me whatsoever.
But they did. They wanted to.
And they're just fantastic people.
Isn't Illinois, though, a Midwest state?
It is, but a lot of the people up there are not. It's a very diverse city.
Yes.
Chicago is.
Yeah.
And so I met friends from all over the world. Aziz is my guy. He worked in the parking garage, and we just became really good friends. And then I got to meet his family and my wife. And then when I left Chicago, he brought us like things from his home that were sentimental to his family that he wanted us to have in our home. And he was from Morocco, and I miss that guy. He was great. But that's an example of a lot of the people that I met up there. It was not this big, scary, mean place.
Yeah.
That I thought it would be. It was very welcoming, very friendly, and tremendous people in that city.
I can relate to that, which kind of ties into these questions. So Christine had said, hated the Seattle traffic. Doug said the worst. Seattle traffic was crazy. Everybody talks about the Seattle freeze. Now, I don't
know what that means. You mentioned that earlier, and I don't know what that means.
Yeah, so the Seattle freeze is like people freezing you out, like not talking to you, not saying hello.
Oh.
And I had moved from Texas up to Washington State. So the only reason why I bring that up is because when I got there, oh man, I'm waving at everybody.
Howdy.
And that's already a little bit of my personality.
It is.
And so, I was saying hi to everybody in Seattle.
Did you experience the freeze? Or?
I remember saying hi to somebody right when I first got there, and I was in Eastern Washington. So I was opposite side of the state, which is very different.
Okay.
And I remember saying hi to somebody walking. I was out taking my dog and, just saying hi. And I think I scared them. And I still remember them kind of jumping and hi and like walking by. And that was when I realized maybe I shouldn't say hi to everybody. But then I got to Kansas and I remember calling my mom, and I was sitting in the Trader Joe's parking lot, and I'd been here for less than a month. And I remember saying, I can't read these people. They are so nice.
Wow.
They're so friendly. It doesn't feel like it's real. And my mom said no. She said, my cousin lives in Iowa, and she's also from Phoenix. And she said, Jillian experienced that when she went to Iowa. She said, you are in the Midwest, but you are in a really unique part of the country where they are genuine and what you're experiencing is real. And I'm so glad she told me that, because I would have, I think, had a different experience. I wouldn't have fallen in love with Kansas so quickly. Okay. And then all of a sudden when I thought, okay, what if it is real?
Like here.
Yeah, like what if the people here are genuinely that kind? Mm-hmm. Now, don't get me wrong, though. People will also, I say they'll shoot you straight. Mm-hmm. But people were so kind here. So it was interesting to go from Texas, Washington, and then back to here. but it is. You think the big cities might not be as friendly, and I don't know. People have been pretty friendly.
Yes, 100%. We really enjoyed the time of it. But I from here and I think we're pretty friendly. But I would also say that if you're describing to somebody that's never been here our culture, I'd say we're a little stubborn.
Oh, that's an interesting one.
We don't like change.
Okay.
That's kind of like, I would say that a lot of the Kansans that I know, it's just my perspective, that don't like change. Don't change anything.
Yeah, that's a very interesting.
Yeah, it's just, that's who we are.
I feel like I can see that now that you say it. And that's not a bad thing.
The other side of that is, and I've been here forever, is that for years we were, and there's some truth to this, at least this city, there was criticism that, and not liking change it's sort of, we were kind of allergic to progress.
Oh.
So, anytime there would be some progress, we get all uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's, and I don't know why, if that's might be some of the reason why some of the stuff is kind of still, stalled a little bit back when I was a kid. Wichita didn't really grow or change. And a lot of that was, I think, you had leadership that didn't want change. And that's okay, because that was representative of the constituency. I don't think anybody really, the majority of the people didn't like change that lived here. But yeah, so, and I still think there's a little bit of that exists. Anytime there's some change, people get very uncomfortable in Kansas. Other communities that I've visited or I've lived in, they embrace change. They want change. Nothing's good enough. We need to change it. We need to change it all.
That's a totally different issue.
And then here it's like, don't touch it.
Yeah.
They're doing what to Town West? I have to have Mr. Bulky's in there and Spencer Gifts. You can't make, so it's...
But we talk about that all the time, that you like that. And so maybe Kansas is the perfect place for you. You like the consistency.
I do, but I also see the importance of change.
100%.
And I did, and I've said this, I've told this story before. Years ago when I did a story it was a retirement home was having, or assisted living home was having a big birthday party for 5 of the residents that were turning 102 or something. And I remember asking one of the birthday girls, I said, what's the secret to long, happy life? And she said one answer: learn to accept change. That's all she said. And at the time, again, I was young. I was like, oh, that's great, but I didn't really know what that meant.
Yeah.
As I got older, as we progressed through life, if you do not learn to accept change, you will be unhappy for a long time.
Yeah.
And so that's, you don't have to like change. It's not about liking it.
Adapt.
It's accepting it and just moving forward. And that's kind of stuck with me. I don't think she's still around. I wanted to look her back up, but it's been, she turned 102 25 years ago.
Yeah,
and I'm not,
I would look her up.
Maybe she might still be around. I wish I remember her name.
I think you'd be doing a different story on her if she was still around.
Yeah, I know. The longest living person ever in the history of ever.
Christina's following up from her comment about New York. She said, mean people. Jan said, I'm a retired school bus driver. Thank you. That's a hard job, too. And said that drivers are rude.
Oh, well, I've seen that in Wichita.
Yeah.
I said that. I do think that's our Achilles heel.
Yeah.
I think I've seen people blow by school buses with the stop signs out. I've seen people, train crossings coming down, they blow by there. I've seen people, I mean, every day somebody's doing something. Nobody's patient, nobody's courteous. Some people are, not everybody.
And if I'm envisioning, right, Jan driving, you've got kids on the bus, you've got people doing dangerous things, it is, it is I say thank you, but that's a hard job.
Yeah. And I'll take it one step further. I've seen people not pull over for emergency vehicles.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen that.
I do want to say Jacob jumped on and said, hi, Jeff and Juliet.
Hey,
Jacob had a birthday, not last Friday, I think the Friday before that.
Yes.
Happy birthday, Jacob.
Happy birthday,
I've been waiting for Jacob to jump on to say happy birthday. Christine said, Jeff, if you get the chance to go to Washington State, you should travel to Bellingham, Washington. I've tried for years to get Jeff I've suggested it as a trip for him and his wife to go. You have family out there. I think they would be a perfect mix for what you love, what Stephanie loves. I think you both would love Western Washington.
The crazy thing about Seattle is when I was a kid, ever since I was a kid, we've had family, different family. My wife's got family out there now. And when I was a kid, my grandmother's sister lived in Seattle.
Oh, yeah.
And I was fascinated with Mount St. Helens.
Yes.
And I was fascinated because my great aunt, my grandmother's sister, was there when the volcano erupted. And she collected ash.
Yes.
And she put it in bottles and then gave it to all of us. So I have a little vial of
that's cool.
of Mount St. Helens ash. Now, granted, it killed a lot of people and it was a huge tragedy, but I have. And as a kid, I was fascinated with it. And then as I got older and with the internets, I was able to go back and you can do a lot of research and learn a lot of things about that eruption, which was the thing about it, when, because we're so caught up in today's world today, like we have short memories as, I think, humans. But if you go, because I could not imagine a volcano in the United States erupting like that and killing all those. It's like unfathomable to me.
Yes.
But it did happen. And so, yeah, that's my whole Seattle, my Washington. I've been fascinated. I've always wanted to see Mount St. Helens. And so I always thought I would go to Seattle, and I get to, and it didn't work out.
When I was a kid, I watched a documentary. I had my tonsils out, and I had an allergic reaction either way. I'm watching the documentary. I'm sick. I'm on the couch, and it was a volcano. I think it was on Mount St. Helens. And I was terrified of volcanoes. And so I've always had this fear. And then you get older, and you realize it's not as prevalent.
You're not having,
I'm not.
You're not checking the volcanic forecast before your road trip, right?
No.
It's like, I got you.
But that makes me think about like weather. I say it all the time, and you shake your head when I say it. But I make the joke. It's a joke. I didn't realize weather existed, like growing up. We didn't really have bad monsoons until I got older. And so I didn't we had dust storms. But now, I mean, when my sister comes to visit, she'll be like, "You're not going to have a tornado, right?" I'm like, no, it's November.
Should keep her guessing.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You never know.
You never know in Kansas. Anytime.
The sad part is you don't, so I can't tell her.
I'm glad Lisa's not here. She would correct us and tell us to stop talking.
She would.
She would.
But it is interesting when you sit there and you talk about volcanoes. It's and you
it's
have
fascinating.
the ash.
I have a little, and so ever since I'm talking 4 or 5 years old, I was fascinated, and I was like, they're like, grandma's sister lives there. Aunt Jane lives up in Seattle.
But that would make me afraid. That didn't make you nervous?
No, I was just thought, you're at the age, like, what do you mean, like, things blow up out of the ground and there's what's this lava stuff and there's
fall
ash
from the sky.
Yeah, I mean, I was always the tornado stuff was like nothing for me. I've seen 4 tornadoes before I was 10 years old.
Yeah, because Kansans are built different.
We're just not that. Sometimes we're not using our heads there. And by the way, I'll admit, I was a kid out in the field, standing out there with my family, going, "Look at that."
Wow.
I mean, nobody was going and this is back in the 80s.
That is the experience, though, I think.
It's just looking back on it, I'm like, man, should have been the basement.
Oh, yeah.
So this is before cell phones and all that, but we did have a neighbor. He was like the first guy in the neighborhood to have like an old big camcorder.
Yeah.
So he's out there with this big, giant camcorder. And anyway, that was one time. There were others.
It's clear the people who are like born and raised from Kansas and people who are not and you can tell, especially in like severe weather season. And I remember when I first got here because I was on mornings. And so I remember waking up though in the middle of the night and it was the loudest thunder I've ever heard. And I was for sure, I said, "It's here. It's happening.
It's happening."
And I grabbed my phone and I was like, I know if there's a tornado barreling down right now in Wichita, Lisa Teachman is going to send out this alert. And so I grabbed my phone and it was a thunderstorm.
Just a thunderstorm.
And I to this day, it was the loudest thunder I've ever heard. But I remember like the evolution of like being ultra concerned, being okay, I'm a little less concerned. And now I'm like, well, I watch my phone. I whatever Lisa sends out, I go by.
Yeah. That is one great thing about what we do. We kind of have we've received kind of I shouldn't say that word, but we've received a little bit of an education in weather and weather patterns and forecasting. You have to, I mean, you're sitting there, we work with a a staff of professional meteorologists.
Yes.
And so they're briefing us all day. And I've had 30 years of it. So you kind of pick up on some things like, cold front,
Yeah.
jet stream, cold front. Like you pick up on a lot of things, those two things primarily. And then, but by no means am I an expert.
Oh, yeah. We were laughing about that last night. It did.
Oh, what did I say?
You said, I'm no expert. And Lisa was like,
she looked at me, she goes, yeah, you're not.
Yeah.
So shut up.
No.
I'm like, oh, okay. I know. I'm sorry.
But she did whip out all of, the scientific knowledge and just da-da-da-da-da-da.
So but you pick up on stuff.
Yeah.
Like I kind of have an idea.
You want to say jet stream again?
Cold stream. It's like a combination.
There you go.
That's what I picked up on. 30 years, that's what I got out of it. They use that a lot. I need to talk to them. We should mix it up.
I'd stay away from that.
Yeah, I'm not talking to them. No. Anyway, so yeah, if you're just joining us, we've been talking about Kansas culture and how would you describe it to people who have never been here, who have never visited Kansas before. And I do think it's different in different parts of the state. I don't think you can just take one brush and paint Kansas culture. I think the cultures, that's one thing that many states are unique like this.
Yeah.
You get different cultures
in different parts of the state.
I'm sure it's much different up in Olathe and those kind of parts. And then also you got to talk about, Goodland and the far western Kansas. And so I think it is different just a little bit. But I think the one thing that ties us all together, and I will say this, and I've gotten this before from people out of states, it's that Midwestern work ethic. Just we're kind of like, you get the lunch pail, you pull up your boots, and you go to work. And you do it day in and day out, and you're proud to do it. And that's a good way to describe, I think, our Kansas culture.
Yeah. My dad, ironically, my parents lived in a different part of Texas than where I lived. And he also he covered parts of Oklahoma as well. So he had Texas, Oklahoma, and a couple other regions. And so we got to Kansas, and he had since retired, but he would always try to hire. He hired a lot of people. And
keep going, because I know where you're going with this.
He said, I wish I had known that there was this wealth of, and people in Texas were really hardworking, but there were other parts of like Oklahoma not that Oklahomans aren't, hardworking, but he said, if I had known Kansas was a couple hundred miles up the road, he said, I would have gone there and found a ton of people.
When I got hired in Chicago, it was a big position up there, and I remember one of the things that the news director at the time had told me, or the vice president of news or whatever the title was, he said to me, we really specifically were looking for people in the Midwest in your part of the country because of your work ethic. Because the person they had before me, I'm not going to go into it, but he wasn't he wasn't putting a lot of his efforts into that particular role at the time.
Yeah.
And so they had said, we're specifically looking for someone who wants to, hard work. And I remember my first day after I called in sick, and I remember thinking, it's good,
Yeah.
And then the second, and I called in again, and then I took 3 weeks off. But I was like, man, that's great. I'm a hardworking guy, and that's why they hired me. So, at the time I think I was on a cruise. But anyway, that joke didn't land very well. However,
I know you're being sarcastic, but they don't know that.
Hold on, but they did the first part of that. I have to go back and explain it.
Yeah.
The first part of that is true. I was told that they were specifically looking for somebody in this particular part of the country, Kansas, for the work ethic. And I think it worked out for them, and I think it worked out for me.
I think it is a true statement, and I think multiple people have said that of the work ethic of people in the state. And I do think it's true.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Doug said that he wishes that I'm trying to find the original comment. I wish my buddy Pat was watching. He is forever griping about traffic in Derby.
That's right. Pat's my man. I've never met Pat, but he's right. Yeah.
But now he's your man. Karina said, born and raised in Kansas, never seen a tornado in person.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people, I think, that are. Lisa, chief meteorologist Lisa Teachman, is one of them, that she didn't see one until she got older. And she talked about that she was much older when she saw one.
You're living in the wrong part of the state. You got to be down in the Hayesvilles.
Yeah.
You see a lot of them, a lot of the NATOs down there.
I can't remember how old she was, but she might have still been young, but older than I think.
Her video presentation.
Oh yes, yeah.
She was working in TV in Kansas City at the time.
Okay, so I can say that. Still young, but
I've seen many. I've seen like 4 or 5.
Yeah, when you said 4 before 10, that was
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but none of them, those, and it's funny, the ones that I saw aren't the ones that people talk about when they talk about the Hayesville tornado. I never saw the Hayesville tornado. The one that's tied in, well, there's two. There's the Hayesville took a hit during 91 Andover tornado, and then there was another individual Hayesville, South Wichita tornado. I didn't see either of those.
Yeah.
There were 4 other ones before I was 10 that just rolled in the back, the south west part of our house. Not close, but close enough.
Close enough.
That's a tornado.
Yeah.
Not a funnel, a tornado.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're talking about Kansas culture. Do you go to places and say, oh, like you go for a trip and then you go, oh, I could live here? Do you do that?
Oh my God.
Okay.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah. I
Naples.
feel like everywhere I'm like, I could live here.
I used to go to Naples a lot when we had some family living down there. And, yeah, I live here.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, I don't live there now. Well, I never lived there. But I do that a lot. I could say I live there. There's a lot of places I could live. I could live anywhere in the country, probably. I wouldn't want to live. Now, I've heard you talk about, is it Southwest Texas? What
West.
part of that
I was
Texas?
in West.
Right, okay.
Far,
yeah. And we've had other teammates here that have worked there.
Yeah.
Zach Martin.
Yes, Amarillo. Somebody else from the Midland, Odessa area.
Mike. And they've all had the similar experiences, and so I'm not sure I would live there.
If you are not in oil, it is probably not a destination place.
Gotcha.
And considering I was not in oil, it was a $1 million experience. I would not pay $1 to do it again.
Gotcha.
But I'm happy to have had it and for it to be over.
I like that saying. $1 million experience that I would not pay $1 to do it again.
Yeah.
I like that.
No way.
I'm going to use that.
We are listening. Okay, so Doug said we're listening passively tonight. Middle school math. Oh, my daughter Faith says, "Hey y'all, I saw the Andover tornado."
There you go.
Doug, we met some of your kids. Remind us. So tell us how old Faith is. Middle school. Middle school math.
I like middle school.
I did middle school math with my dad, and I cried.
I don't remember middle school math.
Neither do I.
I barely remember middle school because I didn't go to middle school.
Oh.
I went to junior high school.
Junior high school.
They used to call it was a thing. They used to call it junior high school, and it was 7th and 8th grade where I grew up. And then I remember, I go back to like us not liking change.
Yes.
I remember when they changed it. I was well gone.
Yeah.
And they changed the junior high to Hayesville Middle School. And I remember like being unnerved about that for some
Really?
reason. Yeah, I was like, what?
Unnerved?
Yeah, I was like, you can't. What do you mean?
That's a strong.
Junior high sounds to me far more like powerful and fun than middle school. Middle school seems very. Junior high sounds like a destination, like a launch pad. Middle school sounds like we're here. We're in the middle. We're in the middle.
We're the middle.
We're the middle of the. We're in the middle of the schools.
It is literally.
And I just didn't. And then they added 6th grade. Why did I lose sleep on this? Now I'm looking. This sounds silly that I didn't like that.
Not only that, you were unnerved.
And now I'm like thinking, I should change it back.
Yeah.
But they're not going to, and please don't. But
we heard somebody talk about it on the news.
But this just falls in line with our culture.
Change it now.
Our culture
Jeff
of
Herndon said too.
They don't know anything about me. But it's like that's the deal is we don't like change sometimes in our culture here. I get it.
Do you feel like you fit into the brand of Kansas?
Yes, I do. And I think it is I've just been lucky. I think how do I say this? Yeah, at the end of the day, that's what I am. At the end of the day, that's what I am. However, I'm good at adapting to my environment.
Yeah.
So sometimes you're in this industry, you're in an environment where I don't know how to say that. I don't know how to articulate this, but it's not Kansan. It's different, and it's a different culture. And I am good at adapting to the environment that I'm in.
That is unfortunate. You don't know how to describe it because I would like a description.
I know. I'm literally stretching here to move on to something. So I don't know what I'm talking about.
I would say that I do feel like I fit into the brand of Kansas, and I think that that's why it works.
You said today on the air that you said, because you were talking about it, and you said, well, I'm not from here. You said that.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, and I've known a lot of Kansans in my life, you could, if you told people you were from Wichita, I don't think anybody would question that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you really, you accompany everything that is great about this culture, great about this community, and you conduct yourself so well. You've leaned into the lifestyle. It wasn't hard because this is who you are. You're not changing anything about you. And I think it's really, again, I think if someone said, well, where's Julia from? You could say, I grew up in Hutch. I grew up in, you could. I don't think anybody would question that until they're like, oh, so you must know Janice. And you're like,
yes, I do. I love Janice.
Janice is so nice. And then they'd be like, yeah, well, I didn't see her at her funeral. And then it'd be weird. But my point is that I don't think anybody would peg you as somebody that was not from here.
Well, it's the best compliment because I think I love people from here. In the same breath where I said, I'm not from here, but I've chosen Kansas to be my home. And so it means something for me, especially as an adult, to choose that. So it's so special. But we were talking in commercial break, and I said, that's why I feel like I can give an objective opinion because I'm not from here. And so I see all of these amazing things that I think sometimes we forget when we are from that community.
Right.
And I've experienced that with my own.
You have opened my eyes to that because it's something that I just admire. You had mentioned this a long time ago, years ago, where you told me that you, again, we've said this before, but you like to be a tourist in your hometown. And it's something that kind of lost on me because I thought I kind of lost touch with that. Like maybe taking some things. So yeah, I want to get back to being a tourist in my own city.
Well, remember, we're getting you on that drum line down at the state fair.
Forgot about that. That's right. Down the
Me
midway.
and Doug did
Walking
not.
down the midway.
Yeah.
With the bass.
Dawn said, Christine, same, I'll take Kansas traffic any day.
Yeah.
Which I agree with. So Doug said she is 11. Faith is 11.
Cool.
Fun age, not fun for math, but stick at it.
That's where it gets hard, I think, math, right?
But not for Faith.
Like fractions.
Faith is going to succeed. She said we're doing area and volume of compound figures. Now, remember when you said, I don't remember middle school math.
I don't remember that.
I'm willing to bet neither does Doug.
No.
Good luck, Doug.
Yikes.
And Faith, but more for Doug.
I have faith in Doug. He's going to be all right.
Karina said, always coming up with new math. Where I grew up, it was junior high, not middle school. Christine said that. I do think that there was that, at some point in time, they changed it, and I think it was across the board.
So I will just let you know, the place, I hate saying this, but I'm going to be honest with you guys, because the one area, and I love the state, I love the people, I go there, I went there every year for decades. My grandparents
we never came back to that.
And I'm coming back to it in a few minutes, and I don't want to, people might be wanting to know.
People want to know.
But I don't want to say the rudest people because it's not everybody. My dad lived there for 20 years.
And loved it.
Yes. But there's a saying, it's called Minnesota nice. That's a thing. And that is, I didn't know what that was. My dad was telling me, because when I was growing up there as a kid, there's fish all the time. My dad moved there and he goes, yeah, this Minnesota nice thing is real. And it's really real if they know you're not from Minnesota.
Yeah.
And the further north you go into the state, the more they can tell you're not from Minnesota because they have a distinct accent. They would say that we have the accent. They have a distinct accent. And if you go into the grocery store or
do the accent for us.
I don't know. Well, the only thing I can tell you is this. I had a conversation up there years ago. I mean, I think I was 15 or 16 with another person of the same age. And I remember we were at a lake, and they were there with their family, and I was there with my family, and all the kids were playing. We were all playing around. I'm like, hey, let's play some tag. And we don't play tag. What's tag? I'm like, you walk around, you run around. You try to somebody's it. I was probably 12 or 13.
Oh, okay.
And 22.
I don't know.
Anyway, no, but they said, I remember vividly. The girl said, you mean teg.
Oh,
you mean you tag?
Get the
and
bag. I gotta get the bag at the grocery
You want to
store.
put the bag? You want to put the stuff in the bag?
Yeah, the buggy.
It's so. That was my first thing. Anyway, as I continued to go up to Minnesota, yes, that is a real thing. And I found sometimes you would go into a convenience store or you would go into a grocery store, and you might need some help, or you ask for directions, or you need, and they're not. I've never had a good experience, and I've been up there. I mean, I've probably visited that state 50 times at least I'm talking spent time there. So Minnesota, my favorite state outside of Kansas.
Oh, can I guess?
Well, no, I'm saying Minnesota is my favorite state outside, and I love the lake, and it's so beautiful up there, and I love it in the summer. However, it's kind of it's an oxymoron, well, whatever you call it, because the people are not. At my experience, they were not the most welcoming group of people. They're not mean.
You like Minnesota more than you like Florida?
I do.
Whoa, not you go to Florida quite a bit? You and Steph do.
I do. I like the soda.
You did quite a bit when you had family there. You don't go as often.
They moved to South Carolina.
Yeah.
So now I love South Carolina.
Now you
I actually
love
really do love South Carolina. But so Minnesota it's a conundrum for me because it's my favorite state. They're not the most helpful people. And it's that Minnesota nice, which means they're nice. I guess the definition of that is they're nice to your face.
Yes.
But they don't really like you when you turn around, and that's okay. But that's what they got going up there. Controversial take right there on Minnesota.
We're gonna get all the Minnesotans.
But I love Minnesotans. Some of my two favorite fishermen are from Minnesota, and they're good people. There's good people up there.
The circle back, the full circle is great people everywhere, meet people everywhere.
100%.
Doug said FTR were killing it with a little fist bump. Good luck with the math.
We were a little, before we started this podcast, we were, I don't know, hoping we'd have a decent podcast.
Yes.
Because they're not all home runs.
No.
I mean, we've had some duds.
Well, I think Doug is referring to the math.
I thought you were talking about the podcast. Are we killing on the podcast, Doug?
No, he's going to have to say,
he's like, no, you guys
keep
stink.
working.
You guys stink. We're doing good on math. You keep talking. Anyway.
You know what? This is my favorite moment.
I just derailed this whole freaking thing. I literally just, it's like the other day when it's not a joke. I was sitting in my chair and I was like, oh my goodness, it's almost 9/11.
Oh, yes.
And you looked at me and said, it's 8:36.
Dead serious.
And I said, no, man.
Yeah.
The date.
Yeah. We laughed hard at that one because
because it was you really, and I get it. Like why would anybody, like, I think it was also it was like September 8th or something. It wasn't even that. It wasn't like it was the next day, but I was like, oh, because a lot of times in this industry we kind of take, you got these benchmark dates that things that have happened, and you know there's going to be coverage and all of that, and being the 24th anniversary, but because you were in the zone.
I was in the middle of something.
You were in the zone, and you're like, I said, it's almost 9/11. And you're like, because we're always looking at the clock.
Yeah.
You're like, what do you mean? It's 8:36.
There's no way it's almost 9/11. That means we've got to get out there soon. I'm not done. The show's not done. Our producer's still writing stuff, and that's why it.
But it does make it. It was funny. It was a funny moment.
Funny.
So,
Doug said the podcast is legit, y'all. Come on.
There we go. We got 1 minute, by the way.
And then Olivia said, "I love this podcast. It's the highlight of my night. Feel better, Olivia." And Jan, first timer. I hope you come back.
Yes, thank you, Jan. Thank you guys for watching.
Good night.
We will see you Tuesday.